If you're considering getting a smart thermostat, then the EcoBee Essential is a great value. It's a great thermostat, but there are some things that you absolutely need to know. Some things that it doesn't come with, and some settings that you'll want to change. So let me tell you all about them. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Well, let's jump right in and I'll tell you all about this thing. First thing that you will notice is how small the box is. And this is the piece that goes in the box that holds the thermostat. And you can see there is no room for really anything else besides the thermostat itself and the little back plate that goes on the back here. Now, this may have been made clear on some retailers' websites. But on my gas company's websites, which is where I bought this thing at, it was not made clear. My gas company had rebates, and I thought, great, I'll get this thing. And I thought I would have everything I needed because I had seen reviews online and they'd said that it came with some of this stuff. The first thing that this thing didn't come with, which I already knew about, was extra sensors. Some of them come with extra sensors that you can put in other rooms and different parts of the room and things like that. The second thing that this didn't come with is a trim kit. So if you have a larger thermostat or one of those rectangular thermostats, something that is going to be longer than this thing, well, you're going to have holes showing up on the sides on your walls. So that is an extra expense. This thermostat has a large back plate on it. This is an optional trim plate that does not come in the box with the Essential model. So if you're getting the Essential model, that's a little bit of an extra cost. I believe it was $15 or $20. I'll put a link in the description, and you'll need to get that if you want to add it to your wall. Now what that does is it's going to cover any holes. I used to have an elongated horizontal rectangular thermostat up here, right? And so there were holes that this is now covering. So I didn't have to repaint that. The next thing that this thing didn't come with was a power adapter. They call it the PEK, or power extender kit. And essentially what it is this thing is not able to run on batteries like some of the old Nest thermostats. This has to be run directly from your furnace. And if you don't already have a C-wire, you are going to need to have one, or you're going to need to put in their PEK, or you're going to have to use a transformer trick, which is just sort of it's a whole thing. And I've talked to guys who have done it that way and had lots of issues. So I would not recommend going that way unless you can't run wires to your thermostat, because with the PEK, that, by the way, doesn't come in this box, you still have to run that to your furnace and hook up those extra wires. So here's the way I chose to go. This is 18 gauge, 5 conductor thermostat wire. This is by Southwire, but you could get any brand that you want and just get something that's decent. And this was from Menards, but they have it at Lowe's and Home Depot and all kinds of places. So the reason I went with this rather than their power extender kit is because the power extender kit is specific to this thermostat. So if this thermostat dies, or I move and want to take it with me or something like that, then it would have to be replaced with the exact same thermostat. This is just the industry standard 5 wires that can be used with any thermostat, including this one. So I went with this, and it's not any more expensive than their power extender kit. So the next thing that you're going to want to know about is so-called ghost heat. And so the idea is that people will go online and complain that their thermostat isn't showing the correct temperature. Well, what happens is where you run your wires through the wall, there's often still a gap in the hole between the wires and the rest of the hole. And so air can come through there. So in my case, it's wintertime and the room is warm and the inside of the wall is colder. And so what happens is that cold air comes through that hole, hits the back of the thermostat. And this one is particularly vulnerable to that. So I'll show you how to fix that. So here's what happens. You get a draft coming out of this hole in the wall where your wires are run through. The bigger the hole, the more air can come through, right? Well, let me show you. And I don't feel nearly as much of a draft right now as I do sometimes. You can still see this flame dancing a little bit. All right, so here's how you handle that. This is called duct seal. Not duck as in quack quack, but duct as in D-U-C-T, as in ductwork from your furnace or AC. And it's basically like Play-Doh for adults. Now I suppose you probably actually could use actual Play-Doh, but I wouldn't recommend it because it probably has moisture in it and that could cause a short between the wires. You don't want that. So this is actually made, and a lot of electricians use, this is professional use stuff, but it's not expensive. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it, got our wires kind of out of the way here, I'm gonna squish it right down in there and plug that hole up. Right? Now no air can come through. Push the wires flat again. I'm gonna take my EcoBee, has the EcoBee logo on the bottom, so you can see these pins on the sides are gonna line up with the pins on here. And we're good. You saw it flicker. It is going to say hi in just a second, and then it'll take like another minute or whatever, and it will boot up and it will resume normal operation because I already have it programmed. Now it's saying hi. You'll see the screen go dim a little bit, and then it'll resume normal operation, and we're good to go. Okay, the next thing that we're going to want to do is just some setting changes. But in order to do that, we have to turn on the manual or pro options on the thermostat so we can have access to change those things. So let me show you how to do that. So we have some settings that are configured to automatic, and they are not really optimized for all situations. And so we're going to want to switch some of that up, and it will make our furnace last longer and save us money in the long run. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to hit the little lines up here on the top right hand corner of the screen. Right? When we get this menu, we're going to scroll down to settings. All right, once we're in settings, we're just going to tap on installation settings, and then thresholds, and then configure staging, and make sure that yours is set to manually. Then we're going to hit the back butt arrow. That's going to, if you don't do that, it won't save your settings. So you tap all those out till you get all the way out of your menu, and then your setting is going to be saved. So now let's change a setting that causes an issue that people talk about online with this thermostat in particular, which is short cycling. So what happens here is that the heat differential is how long the thermostat is going to wait before it changes to either heating or cooling. So in this case, with the heating, in the wintertime, let's say I have my heat set to 70 degrees. By default, it's only going to wait for half a degree. So what it's going to do is it's going to wait until the room cools to 69 and a half, and then the heat's going to kick on. It's going to heat until it gets to 70 and a half and turn off. And then it's going to wait until the heat drops back down to 69 and a half, and it's going to kick on, and then it's going to go back up until it's 70 and a half. It's just going to keep on repeating. So it's not going to be very on. So the furnace isn't going to be on for very long, and it's not going to be off for very long. So in order to fix that, we can extend the amount of degrees that it's going to wait. In my case, I set it to 1.5 degrees, and you can choose whatever is comfortable for you. All right, so let's save ourselves some energy and some wear and tear on our furnace. So we're going to go to the settings menu again. Then installation settings, then thresholds. Then we are going to go and look for heat differential.
And you can scroll however you want this to be. But you can see I put mine on 1.5 degrees, and I've been very happy with that. So now we're just gonna go back out to save our settings and on to the next one.
So the next setting that you should be aware of is the heat dissipation. And the idea behind this is when a furnace heats, it heats up a heat exchanger using whatever fuel that you're using, gas, electric, whatever. And the fan starts running and it blows air past that heat exchanger, and the heat gets absorbed into that air and then it gets pushed out into your house. Well, by default, this thing wants to stop your furnace from running the fan almost immediately after it's done heating the heat exchanger. Well, you've already paid for that heat. You might as well allow that fan to keep running and pick up the rest of the heat until it cools down. So you can set it for whatever amount of time you want, but I chose 90 seconds, and you can choose less or more if you want. And the other benefit to this is that it could make your furnace last longer.
All right, so here's how we change our heat dissipation. We go back into our menu, scroll back down to settings, installation settings, thresholds, and then we are going to look for heat dissipation. And you can leave it by default, it is going to be on auto, but you can see that I like to have mine on 90, and I've been happy with that. So then again, we're just going to go hit our back arrows, and we're done.
The next setting that you should be aware of is the fan control. And what happens here is people go online and they say, well, I'm getting a blast of cold air coming through my ductwork when the furnace comes on. Well, what happens is, for whatever reason, by default, the setting on this thing is to tell your furnace, oh, no, you don't decide when the fan comes on. I want to decide when the fan comes on. So even though this thing doesn't have direct sensors into your furnace, it's trying to tell your fan to come on just about right away, even before the heat exchanger is even warmed up. So your furnace starts blowing that air past the heat exchanger, but it's not warm yet. So you get cold air instead of warm air. So what you want to do is change this setting to give your furnace control again, especially if you have like a newer furnace, like a high efficiency furnace like I have. That thing has brains in it in order to figure out, okay, the temperature is this temperature right now. Now I can kick on the fan. So I changed mine to let the furnace control when the fan turns on instead of this thermostat.
Okay, so the next setting that we're going to change is the fan control. So we're going to go back into settings, back into installation settings, and then we're going to go into equipment and then furnace, and then we're going to tap on this option here and make sure that yours is set to by HVAC or by furnace, and that is going to allow your equipment to decide when the fan comes on. We'll go back out and we're done with the settings. One final thought is really that you might want to do a little bit of research. You can use something like ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, X's Grok, something like that, and just do a quick query, explain your situation with your house, whether you have a newer house, if you have AC and a furnace, if you have a high efficiency furnace, if you've got a mini split or a heat pump, any kind of whatever the details are. And once you tell it what your situation is, then it can customize these settings to work best for you and what you feel is the most comfortable for you, because it's going to be an exchange. You're going to have to balance, well, what's going to be the best money saving and longevity for the equipment, and balance that with what's the most comfortable. And so for me, this is what's the most comfortable and still balances those that cost savings and longevity of the equipment.
So the last thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is a free app or website called bstat.io. And what this does is it just gives you more data, more insight. It'll give you graphs and things so you can see data that for whatever reason EcoBee doesn't want to share with us directly in their app or on the thermostat interface. Maybe they think it's too confusing for the average consumer, but I thought it was cool, so check that out if you want to. Let me know in the comments if you have a smart thermostat. Which one do you have, and what's your experience been like? Also, let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to talk to you down there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.